Well, it's another day, my viewers, and I'm hanging in there. There's a lot of personal things going on, so it's preventing me from being fully effective. I've got a lot of work and things that I have to take care of on a daily basis. My system is not perfected. It's not even near perfected. But as you can see, I try to give enough of my time. Could you ask them to be quiet? I'm going to have to ask for silence again. You have to realize, like, when you watch a video of mine, and then part of the way in, I have to call for silence. When I don't have the video on, it's kind of the same way, but I tolerate it more. If anyone has advice on how to, like, calm down children, not with drugs or substances, but as far as to make them more aware of their behavior and the noise level, because they seem to have gotten into a habit that they picked up, and I'll tell you where most of it will come from. Actually, I don't want to totally blame it on TV and stuff. I mean movies, like TV-based movies, or the cartoons that they're putting out. If you're a parent out there, as I am, I would advise you to be very cautious about the animated cartoons we let our kids watch. They are very harmful. Like, I hope you realize that. Like, when I'm reminding you. So when one of these is playing, and you hear the voices, and you listen to the storyline, and you realize it's just totally nonsense, and it's harmful to the way your children are going to be thinking. I'll give you one example. There's one called Horseland, which we love horses, and so it's called Horseland, and it features these horses, and I guess, yeah, they're talking, and some of the other animals on the ranch are talking, but it's full of, like, these real uppity people, and the human children in it are very annoying. They're impetuous, they're obnoxious, they're belligerent. Anyhow, moving along. So there's other things going on in my life. I don't want to get into details. I want to give you something that, how can I help today, or whatever day you're watching this. We're all in this together. The planet seems to be getting smaller because the amount of problems seem to be extending their reach everywhere, like long tentacles that encircle the planet. We talk about the problems that we can face, like the murder rate because of drugs and because of people have nothing in their neighborhoods, and it's this constant oppression, and that year after year, generation after generation just destroys it down. And yet you still have these people rising up the ranks and, being in charge of everything. They're in charge of their own little insulated lives, and they act like they're in charge of the mess, and they're doing their best. Well, they're doing their best to help themselves is what's going on. And these kind of tentacles are far-reaching because they pass such a thing as laws, so-called laws. Law is a reference to the rules that everyone should follow, and it's the game plan. And I am certain that I know the real law. And at this point, I don't need it on paper, even though I know when you put it on paper, it makes it easier to debate, as well as educate everyone. And this is true or useful especially for the youth. But being in my position, I'm usually not questioned for my background experience and my school of hard knocks. You can usually hear from my tone or my vocabulary if I'm not cussing and cursing with those terrible words that even I don't like to hear when I watch myself. But when I use a big word, when I use a technical word about science, about spirituality, you know, the golden rules, you can hear that. And some people like proof. I can give you proof. I can give you the exact dates. I can give you witnesses. People will come out of the woodwork and say, yeah, he did that. He stuck to his guns. He's a man of principle. So I know the law, and I just have to point out the fact that we have these false I don't even know what to call it. These things that they're operating under that seem to justify them and empower them to enforce crimes, and yet call it the opposite. So they have turned the world topsy-turvy. I'm wondering, do they know what they're doing? When I talk to them, there's a disconnect. And do I need to talk to them more? They seem to always feel like they're above. It's like they're just used to that privileged position. And this is very dangerous, because they have never humbled themselves like I have. Take any example out there of these powerful people that make these legal decisions that are affecting everywhere around the planet. And they're all in collusion, by the way. They're all pretty much act the same. It's always about the money. You can tell I'm fiercely mad right now, but I'm not going to put out any of those harsh words. I'm going to articulate it better. I took a vow of poverty. The reason why I come to the viewers and present myself year after year, and now more at a feverish pace, to say that the only thing that's really going to solve this crisis that we're in, global crisis, is proper leadership. Someone is going to have to step up and prove it. Right now I'm talking. But talk is cheap, they say, and the time for talking is over. Talking is just for information. Talking is to get a few things clear, discussion, debate if necessary, and then we work out agreements. If you continue to come to this channel, I know you're in agreement. I know you are aware, and it takes one to know one. We're all leaders. But we're going to have top leaders amongst us that are highly functioning and willing to take the brunt of whatever's going to come back at us. Retaliation time is in our hands. But this is a struggle that is beyond belief. I don't mean that, but I just mean it takes so long to explain it, you know, to lay out the scenario. I could give you fancy graphics like a lot of these channels do, but you notice that I just come to you in my studio home here, and, you know, it's just a vlog on a webcam. And all these channels, you know, you hear their voice, and it's got the echo, and they do some graphics, or they do, like, make it look like mainstream news. I don't do that. And I hear a lot of people going that way, and I kind of dabbled in that. You know, I was psychedelic and doing that thing and did other kinds of editing, but I'm just telling you straight up, I mean, what more do you need? Do I have to look like Anderson Cooper to you so that you tune in? I don't think so. I mean, that's the joke. I have to joke around to, like, maybe new people or people that come in here and just going to, like, float away and not take it serious. But to those of you that know, it takes one to know one. I'm using that in a positive sense. I inspire myself, and I believe in myself. My confidence is high, even though, as I said in the beginning, personal problems. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I've got people around me sometimes that don't cooperate. But you see me still talking about world-scale problems here, extinction-level events, if they are. How does that happen? I don't know. I don't know. Something drives me. There's something, and I have to have faith above, in what's above. You know, something is moving me, and I have to say it's the good side. Because there are two sides. And someone was just writing to me. I think it's a very new viewer, so you know how it is. Then I had another new viewer a couple months ago, Jesus Loves Me, and I think we started out with a big argument, if he remembers, and now we're like in agreement on a lot of things. And now this new viewer is talking to me, and I didn't understand exactly where they're coming from, because, you know, it's hard. You get a paragraph of text, and it's like, you're like, WTF, you know, you really can't tell, so you have to go through a process. You communicate, and then he or she comes up with a statement that these leaders, these false ones, these evil ones, are going to go into bunkers, you know. We're pretty sure that they're going to do that, the DUMB, Deep Underground Military Bases. We know where they are. And he says, or she says, that this is a way to understand the prophecy, which comes from the Bible. I think even the Quran talks about it, or alludes to it, that in the end time, there's going to be a separation between the wheat and the chaff. And I said, that's a parable. Awesome. And I hope that when people use parables, they understand, because parables are part of mystery teaching. It's mystery. Yeshua, otherwise known as Jesus Christ, taught with symbols, and every element in his stories has a double meaning. And if you don't understand the symbol, what it is, then you don't know how to apply it. It's not what it's talking about. When he's talking about a farmer's field and separating the chaff from the wheat, and you take the chaff and you burn it with unquenchable fire and you harvest the wheat, those are the first fruits, and you offer them at the feast. There's ancient Hebrew or ancient Israelite holy days, ceremonies. They come each year. There's the festival of the first fruits, and this is like the reverse. You come through the problem after the Last Supper in Christianity, and you come to like this first supper where we all can celebrate and everything just laid out. We are actually the first fruits. And wheat is also known as a fruit. You know, it's just a fruit of the grain. And it's sweet, by the way, if you have it fresh. It's very sweet. Chew it. If you have it fresh, that's, my God, that's how we should be living. My G-O-D. So we offer this, but what are we offering? We're actually offering ourselves to this gathering. We need to be gathered up. So what he's saying is right on. I've been saying this since the beginning, and I don't see people doing it yet, probably because I can't pull it off. I don't know where we're supposed to go, and I don't know when. But I do know that it's supposed to happen, and then we will be prepared and we can really coordinate and cooperate together. But a lot of us are stuck. Look at me, in a concrete, solid house, barely any insulation. I really can't complain, because at least I have something. At least I can give you videos and stay connected and just love everybody from where I am. And I show my care and concern for all of us. For those that have already decided against the plans, the divine plan, the cleansing, and the improvements that are coming, I don't do anything for them. I believe and feel in my heart that the time for forgiveness is over. I know that's a bold move, but maybe we're in a new time to establish new scripture. You know, maybe we ought to think about that. If some of you are very accurate, if some of you are scribes, if some of you are true in heart, maybe you need to be, you know, the videos could be the new way of recording it, but we always go back to words, written words. Maybe we could write all this down, you know, and add, you know, a New Testament is certainly called for. Add it to all the religions, you know, like everything should be compiled. There are many mansions, there are many people. I'm not prejudiced against anybody physically. I'm prejudiced against people the way they spiritually act, the way they make their mental intellectual, emotional choices. That's what I'm prejudiced against, because those things are a matter of choice. You know, skin color is a primordial choice. That's karmic. That's a totally different area. You know, if you want to slice it down to genetics or family or, you know, geographical location, that's different. The thing that we're going to be judged on, and the thing that must gather us together or not gather us, is our choices. Okay? I chose to make a video. I chose to address you, the people of the world. I chose to step up as a leader. I chose to represent what's going on, and I will take the brunt of whatever it is that's going to try to attack. But I'll tell you, they've been attacking since day one. Since I was old enough to have consciousness, my earliest memories was that they were attacking. And I wasn't sure who they were, and I wasn't sure why they were doing it. I was very innocent, actually, as I am now. I'm innocent. I look at myself and I know my mistakes, but I haven't done, you know, evil things. I haven't. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't go there. I don't think anyone should go there, because we're all kind of stuck in the muck, and we need to get up out of it. And we need to be very careful each day and help each other to get pulled up out of the falling down into the filth and the gutter. And I think that's where most of these people are, and they don't even know it, or they don't care. You know, they make themselves look all incredible and fancy and, you know, presentable, and eating their spare ribs or whatever they're eating in their fancy restaurants, and they're just not that. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. Now there's a great parable for you. That's a parable that stands on its own, and I think everybody understands that one. But why are we the sheep? Why are we now called the sheeple? We all pat ourselves on the back, you know, and sarcastically, oh, we're the sheeple, but we shouldn't be the sheeple, you know. We can't be led along like the sheeple. Why don't we be lemmings? Remember actually, that's a misconception about the lemmings, but I can't digress into that. Why are we going along with this and being led to slaughter? Why? We're not. See, we're not sheeple. We're not going to stand for it. And I will lead you. I will. That's a given. I've told you that. I've stepped up. What can I give you? What practical information? I think I've given you plenty here to see, like, the overall picture. If there's something you don't agree with, let me know. Let's discuss it, maybe debate it. This is my take on reality. And I've been talking a lot. I haven't gotten in touch with anyone in Japan that would be doing the evil or being in charge of cleaning up Fukushima or containing it. I haven't yet. I haven't. But I want to extend my intentions to them right now. I'm doing it spiritually, so I'm preparing the way. But then there's going to be a literal communication. But I gotta say, like, I haven't done it yet. I haven't. I want you to pray, though. If praying is something you know how to do, can you pray so that this can pave the way for the solution? That's one thing that I can ask from you, if you're in on this. Okay. So, you want to add anything in conclusion? My longtime friend here.
Well, I would have to say that the world is what I expected from 30 years ago, right on target, except for one thing I was touching on it before, dealing with compassion. I believe that element or emotion needs to be more of a drive. There people can, I think, have a better understanding to who they are.
Yeah, I think it was a good thing to mention compassion. You were talking about that earlier. And I think it's all about compassion. They have a bodhisattva vow in the Buddhist philosophies or Buddhist denomination. And that's all about compassion, where you feel care and pity for the others that are suffering, because we know that life is about suffering, and all of us suffer, and we're in the midst of great suffering right now. So the only way to counteract that is by compassion. Compassion is really just basically caring, and what can you do about it? What can you do? Instead of just letting it get you depressed or something, or, people don't like to get depressed if there's something they don't know what to do about it. It's just so overwhelming, so they just shut down. They start to turn away. I'm telling you, and I've complained, I've pointed out the different channels, I've challenged them directly that they're just turning away, they're putting out false information, they're not facing something. I'm going to end this.